The list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we will get to 50K in no time. Prior to beginning today's reads, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. If you would like to catch those full readings, you can find them over on the place where you keep the video, where we keep the videos. You can also find them as a podcast over on my spot, or over as a vcast over on my stack. But before we get started today, first and foremost, scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? There are no wrong answers. We are in the midst of eclipse season. It is not for the weak. It is not for the meek. It can be very, very intense. It can often bring a lot of volatility to things. One of the things I want you to keep in mind as you're navigating through energy like this is maintaining a sense of proportionality, okay? There's going to be, especially, and I want to point out, given the fact that we recognize that eclipses specifically are amplifiers, the observation of being able to identify what one is effectively working through, there's a lot of retrograde energy in this eclipse. And at the same time, we also have a lot of energy in Leo. So remembering that eclipses are effectively amplifiers. And what do you effectively see when we have Saturn and Neptune and Chiron all in retrograde? Saturn and Neptune in retrograde in Aries, Chiron retrograding in Taurus, with Mercury and Jupiter in Leo. It can help identify and work through energetic deficits, okay? This is the type of energy to help us recognize and see what it is that we're missing or what it is that we need. It's not easy because often in the context by which you're recognizing what you need, you have to, it's navigating or looking into the breach, if you will. It's being able to effectively see and understand and embrace that deficit that allows one to be able to do something in a more holistic way. This type of energy is beautiful as it relates to making plans, as it relates to creating organization, as it relates to building into profit processes, and as it relates to healthy communication in terms of identifying what one needs to bring forth to things. I'm going to tell you right now, it is not the type of energy to allow oneself to get really, really, really caught up in the realm of the feelings, because, and I'm just going to point this out, eclipse cycles have a tendency of being somewhat volatile. So if you're feeling any of that volatile energy, make sure that you are applying it in ways or in spaces that feel like they are most energetically productive. Because, one of the things that I like to point out, like the energy or the experiences or the feelings that we have during eclipses often speak to what we often feel is the minutia, or the things that are hard for us to effectively identify or articulate upon. Like that feeling of amplification can offer for us a lot of exposition, but it requires us to be in tune with our feelings in order to communicate upon them. Now, that is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. But if you would like to find those full readings, you can find them over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find them on a place where we keep over on the spot over as a podcast over on our spot, and over on as a vcast over on our stack. I'd also encourage you to head over to my stack to learn more about our next tarot class, which is going to be happening on Thursday, September 17th at 5:30 PST, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the 4 cards of the minor arcana. If you missed our class this week on the 3 cards, never fear, it is now live over on the stack for your viewing pleasure as long as you have become a part of our Tarot Church membership classes. To be able to access them and view them, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to our stack allows you the ability to have over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive available to you. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive, and the opportunity of receiving an assessment by me where I will meet with you personally and assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey to give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletters there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule and my mystic meditation articles, which give you updates on everything we've been studying in the cards or based on the lunation cycles. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute reads, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey at a discount, as well as my dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. Now, if you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. But let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally, because it is going to hit everyone just a little bit differently. That said, we are going to get started on personal reading tonight. I will point out we are on a little later than we typically are used to, so we will be keeping the list very short tonight. We have 3 individuals who have priority this evening. Anyone who gets on the list tonight after that, at this time, will be read for once we complete the 1 cards. I am going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Also, for those that are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, good evening. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful night. You can also get on the list via the same methods that I articulated upon, or you can also send directly through the app, and you can also get on the list as well. If you become a paid member there, your paid membership entitles you to the discounted rate that I listed for cards for 23 or more, for those who are members, as well as a free 1 card reading each day. Excellent. Good to see you, Ivana. Thank you for those likes. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful evening. And Julia, good to see you as well. Ella, so good to see you over on the place where we keep the videos. Absolutely. Excellent. Gary, I'm afraid I can't read what you've written. If there's any way that you can translate, I would appreciate it. Dustin, thank you so much for those coins. I appreciate you. Absolutely. How are you doing today, Radical? And thank you as well. Excellent. Good to see you, Ivana. I hope you're having a good one. Hi there, Mia. Hope you're having a beautiful evening. Yeah, I mean, that's going to come up. Listen, I like to point out, like, you know, and I want to point out this is also the energy for righteous indignation, right? When you've got Jupiter and Mercury in Leo, as well as a bunch of energy that's retrograding in Aries, there's moments or opportunities where you could feel upset for a very valuable reason. Oh, I don't mind that at all, Ella. Good to see you there. And thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. How are you doing today, Rose? Excellent. And good to see you tonight as well, Nikki. Hope you're having a beautiful evening. Adams, hope you're having a beautiful evening as well. And Danae, thank you for getting on the list. You will be the first person read for once we complete the one cards. If anybody else would like to get on the list this evening, you will be the fifth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Excellent. Excellent. Good to see you, Yaz. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. Ella, I'm sending you so much support. Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk about it. There's a lot. Listen, you're not the only one that's going through the ringer right now with this energy. And a lot of it is gonna have to do, right? A lot of it has to do with the fact that Saturn and Neptune are retrograding in Aries. But the nice thing I like to point out is Jupiter and Mercury in Leo together is helping to balance that out. Absolutely. I know it's not frequent that we get evening lives here. Oh, you've got Leo in Jupiter. That is really informative, Ivana. Thank you for letting me know. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Glad to hear it, Rose. How you doing today, MP? Excellent. All right. So we are going to get started. I'm going to be moving through things pretty quickly tonight because I want to make sure that we're optimizing on time. The first person we're going to be reading for tonight is It's My. If you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And as I mentioned, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the fifth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Second call right now for It's My. Second call right now for It's My. If it's not here, then the next person that we are reading for this evening is going to be Ivana. Oh, how you doing tonight, Lisa? I hope you're having a beautiful one. Excellent. Outside tea on the disco. We're going right into a dream interpretation. I love it. Excellent. And you guys know what we do before we get started here. We are going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal oracle cards here. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. How you doing today, Horror? I'm doing well. How are you doing this evening? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the dog. We'll do that again after the next reading. And hey, how you doing tonight, Bridget? Horror, I don't know if you've been here before, but we actually do a podcast here each day, pretty much, where we work through the tarot in terms of being able to identify and see what's happening energetically. Absolutely. If you're interested in finding those podcasts, you can find them over on Spot and over on Stack. Excellent. And I'm going to pin up Ivana here. Guys, make sure to give Ivana some love. All right. And you guys know what we do before we get started on our dream interpretations. We're going to bust out the dream coconut. Absolutely. How you doing today, Da? Excellent. All right, outside tea. I dreamt I was at a mall. I was heading back home and I saw they were going to do a grand opening of a store. And the store's name is listed. It's a large retailer. This store does exist in real life, but they usually sell clothing, shoes, perfume, jewelry, home decor at a very good price. So I saw many people in a line and I was waiting for it to open. There were like 5 or 6 rows of people to do a line, and we didn't really make a line because once the people were approaching to make the line, they clapped fast, like celebrating, and let everyone in at once. I remember around me, there were a lot of elderly individuals. And as I entered, I grabbed my phone to record. I was going to show it to my husband. It was beautiful, and it did not look like the original store. This store was different. In fact, they were selling plants and trees and birds, and everything looked so green. Some birds were in cages and others were free. A lot of bird food was stacked up to be purchased. There were hummingbirds flying very fast in the area. And then there were some chimpanzees that were locked in cages. And there was like a puppy there and 3 cages with 2 chimpanzees in each cage and a puppy. I stopped recording and I felt so bad seeing them in that cage. I remember petting the puppy and it jumped next to the chimpanzees, and one of them just was wanting to be free and the other one was being silly and showing me their rear. Then it jumped to a whole different fragment, but it was in the same place. I bumped into some friends and I don't recall knowing any of them in real life. But all of a sudden, I think we were wearing princess costumes, and there was an event going on. I explored further since the whole place was an outside store, and there were concrete ladders going down. There was a sidewalk that leads you to some houses. I think one of the girls that were in that group accompanied me. We had to go to a house because something was going on with some little kids. These little kids were already passed away, so it was just their spirits that were wandering around. Someone I don't remember who indicated that they had been stuck in that house and have not been able to be free. As we went in there, there were 4 or 5 kids around 5 years old, and they seemed very sad, even though they were playing and being mischievous, but you could see that they were tired. They said the only thing that they would help them was if we allowed them to go to sleep, that they were not able to close their eyes and sleep. So we each got one child and left the others in the living room. And we would ask them what their favorite lullaby was. Our plan was not to sleep, our plan was not to help all of the children go to sleep at the same time. We wanted to help them one by one because I felt that it would make them more comfortable and we could make sure that they were getting peaceful rest if I could ask each one what their favorite lullaby would be, or if there was something maybe in specific that would calm them down. They also said they felt very cold. So I even remember asking, do you want to take a shower since you are a ghost? I don't know if that would make a difference. And one of the little boys said no. They were very thin, but they looked like they were effectively the leader of the children. As I was wrapping them up with a blanket, I started humming him a lullaby. But then people started knocking on the door, and we overheard someone who was going to report us because they had heard voices inside the house. We paused trying to put the children to sleep and explain to them that we were going to be back. We went outside of the house and we found out that it was someone's birthday. It was one of my coworkers' dads. So we sang to them happy birthday and then we cut the cake. I remember the man saying, birthdays aren't like this anymore. Children now don't even know how to sing the birthday songs or even how to open gifts with wrapping paper. The next fragment, same place, different people. I'm surrounded by other members of management. And my manager stopped me and in front of everyone said, about the days you requested, I won't be able to give them to you since you will need to guard those two in the elevator. I smiled and I knew that was going to happen. I had requested my birthday weekend and I said, it's fine. Do whatever you think is best. And then I woke up. And thank you, dear. You got 4 cards coming and you had a 1 card, so that's 5. And 1 more, please. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So the dream is about your Saturn placements. It's about old things that reopen in new ways. And the reason we see this, and you have to pay attention because the first part of the dream lays the groundwork for the rest of what we effectively see in the fragments. And what did you effectively see in that first part of the dream? You saw an old store. You saw an old store that was opening, a grand opening. And you knew that store by heart. But the store was nothing like the store you knew it to be before, right? The store before used to be a discount store, right? It used to be a place to get odds and ends, right? It used to be a place where you could find good deals. And here, right, you see an entirely different store appear. Same name, right? But inside, absolute, like, wonders, right? And that is what occurs as we maturate, right? This is the experience of being known, which is we often go through transformation processes. And depending on how long it's been since we've known one another, what we find within ourselves can change dramatically. And you're seeing a lot of that drama there. And that's why you identified that outside of the store, there were 5 or 6 rows of people, because this is identifying the difference. This is identifying the difference that Saturn invokes, because Saturn changes can't happen overnight, right? This isn't the kind of change that like one day, somebody wakes up and suddenly there's a whole bunch of different stuff inside of them. Okay, it takes about 5 or 6 years. It takes about 5 or 6 years, which is why you saw about 5 or 6 rows of people, right? Each row of people was a year. So the guides are showing you, and that's why and I need to point out, the humor of this is the name of the store is actually a person's name, right? The name of this particular store, it is actually a person's name. So it talks about, so the guides are basically showing you, pay attention to the fact that others, and what do you have when you go through a Saturn return, right? Every 5 or 6 years, every 5 or 6 years, we go through a lot of changes because, and it's incremental, right? It's often incremental. But what others see as instant is often incremental, because, and that's why you identify that even though there were 5 or 6 rows, they opened all at once. 5 or 6 rows, they opened all at once, right? Because after the 5 or 6 rows formed, then it was time for them to be able to open up more. So we have here the guides, and the thing about it is this is also showing the fact that this is coming, there's something about the idea or the identification of this being an awakening process, because what do you find inside? You find living things, right? You find living things within, you find living things within that space, right? And so when you find those things within that space, you can effectively identify that that is the effect, those are the changes that you're seeing. And the thing about it is some of them are beautiful. Some of them are incredible. You identified the fact that you said that there were a lot of birds in there, right? But you also saw things that potentially felt upsetting and devastating. And those things that you saw were upsetting and devastating were specifically related to others, right? To those who feel energetically trapped in their experiences, right? Because that is why you saw, like, what was the sadness that you were potentially identifying there? The sadness that you were identifying was seeing things that are living that felt trapped, right? Rather than feeling free. And that's why you identified, right? And that's why you identified that you were working through those emotions, because the emotions that you were feeling, and this is often what happens as we go through an awakening process, is this is why we talk about awakening processes aren't always like, like joyful. They can also feel very devastating, because sometimes those awakening processes help us see with pain how trapped others are in what they experience or what they feel are situations and circumstances that they themselves are still energetically working through. So you're seeing a lot of that energy there. And some, right? And some who rather come towards, like some who come towards, right? And what did you see with some of those experiences? Some were working through anger, and some were working through teasing, right? Because this is what happens as we energetically mature, right? There are those that don't understand our own maturation processes, and some are angry to see them, and some tease us for them. This then jumps you into the next fragment, where you said that you bumped into some friends and you don't recall knowing any of them in real life. Now that's a quandary, right? Because you're pointing out that there's a quandary happening in the dream space. How can you define them as friends if you but you don't know any of them in real life, which identifies the interesting, and this is going through Neptune retrograde, because Neptune retrograde often navigates the nature of relationships, right? And what's interesting about a Neptune retrograde is a Neptune retrograde can show us that we don't necessarily need to be in physical contact with one another in order to build a friendship. And you identified that in that space, all the individuals you saw there were wearing princess costumes, and there was some kind of event going on. So, what do you identify there is potentially this is you working through the energetic possibility, right? This is, and I want to point out it's interesting because there's some shadow work that's energetically occurring here, right? Because sometimes our guides bring things to us to see how we would feel about them. So what you basically have going on in the second fragment is working through the possibility of meeting someone, right? What it feels like to energetically meet someone that we only know, right? That we only know in a non-tangible way, right? In the realm of tangibility. So the quality or condition by which we meet somebody face to face. And you saw the princess dresses there because it was the observation of something, right? Something bringing, like some cause or reason potentially bringing those that you've met corporeally into tangibility. And what did you identify there? You said you were exploring the whole place and it was outside the store. right? And it was outside the store because it's those who, the connection point that you have are those who are going through that same journey with you, which is why they were outside the store. And you identified that there were concrete ladders. Now, this is really interesting. You said concrete ladders going down, and there was a sidewalk that would lead you to some houses. Okay? So, what do you see that's happening there, right? You're navigating how and why you've built relationships corporeally, right? You're working through corporeal relationships, building into tangibility. And what do you see the nature of those relationships being? Shadow work, inner child shadow work, right? And that's why you saw the concrete ladder that's going down. And you said you had to go to a home because something was going on with some little kids. And this is the inner child healing. He said these children were already no longer here, right? So it was just their spirits that were wandering around. This is what inner child healing is, right? When we talk, when we talk about inner child healing, what we talk about is the inner child that no longer exists, but yet persists within us, right? The inner child that no longer exists, that still persists within us. So this is what you see that you're doing, right? This is what you see that you're doing with those individuals who you know corporeally. Okay, and let's see what you do. Okay, with, so that brings us to, you said someone didn't remember, you didn't remember, indicated. I love that you said someone you don't remember indicated that they've been stuck in that house and they've not been able to get free. And remember that when we're in the dream space, houses often have to do with the quality and condition of our self. And you said as you went in there were 4 or 5 kids around 5 years old. I'm going to ask you, I bet it's interesting, right? Because you started the first part of the dream talking about 5 or 6 rows. And now we're seeing in the dream space with the children 4 or 5. I would be very curious to ask you how many individuals were running around in princess dresses. Because I would not be surprised if you tell me that there were, interestingly, probably about 4 or 5. Because what you were seeing in the dream space were the inner childs of those 4 or 5 individuals. Thank you for confirming. And you said they seemed very sad, even though they were playing or being mischievous, almost like someone showing you their rear end. Okay? They right? They were being mischievous, but you could see that they were tired. Right? And this is often what happens because we get exhausted trying to protect our inner children. Right? It's hard work. It's hard work protecting our inner children. It's exhausting stuff because what happens when we're protecting our inner children, right? We have to be the force that works to protect them. So it often can feel like exhaustive stuff. And you indicated that you said that the only thing that would help them is if you could make them go to sleep. And you said they were not able to close their eyes and sleep. But the thing about it, so here's the thing about it, okay? It's not that easy, okay? It's not that easy, right? Because the only space or place where you can do inner child healing, where your inner child can go to sleep, is if there's peace on earth, right? That's what happens. If there's peace on earth, okay? If there's peace on earth, then all of our inner children can finally rest because we've created a bliss state, right? We've created a bliss state that would allow the inner children to be able to rest safely. But we can't do that. So you're seeing the condition, right? You're seeing the difficult condition that is required as we're doing inner child healing, which is would absolutely love nothing more on this earth than to allow our inner child to rest. But first, we have to make the conditions necessary. We have to make the conditions necessary in order for that to in order for that to be able to occur, right? So the best you can do, right? And this is the best we can do, is that we start to sing a lullaby, right? And what do we see that a lullaby does? The best we can do is soothe. The best that we can do when we're working through inner child healing, if we cannot, like, and this is showing you the tiers of inner child healing, the absolute best you can do to heal the inner child is literally make the world a safe place. You want your inner child to rest? Work on, get busy making peace on earth. Okay, get busy making peace on earth. And guess what? Like, the inner child will immediately be able to rest. If not, the next best thing you can do is working into the context of building through that energetic lullaby, which is not meant, right? Which is not meant to put the inner child to sleep, but to allow the inner child to be soothed enough, right? So that the inner child can feel mollified as you're working through the business of creating peace on earth, right? So here, and you can't, and here's the thing about it. Every inner child needs something different, right? This is what we learn about inner child healing. There's no one size fits all approach to our inner child healing, right? Some need more attention, some need less, right? Some need encouragement, right? Some need the ability to do something on the space to do something on their own. It's it requires the time to sit with the self to understand what's necessary and needed, which is why you were saying, right, to the individuals there, you had to take each single child alone, right, and understand them so that you could find that energetic song to give them, that psalm that allows them to be able to move through, right, to work through the space of resting enough while they're working, right? And this is what we do internally. So there we see that you identified, that you stated that they could not, and that's why you said they couldn't close their eyes, because we can't close our eyes. Like, if you're working in to inner child healing, you can't close your eyes if the world is not a safe place for the inner child to be. So that space by which you were navigating that was the best you could do to heal. That's what we do to heal every day as we're working towards that better world. Now, you identified that you said that there was, and that's where you kind of you get into the space, and that's why you notice, right, when you what you basically saw was that with that individuated child, right, you were trying to identify and recognize what needed to be brought forth in order to allow for that healing to occur. And you stated that when you stated and you articulated upon it, right, like, even there, that was you going through that process. Now, you said as you were wrapping one of those inner children with a blanket, you started to hum them a lullaby. But then, right, so there you are, and this is showing the difficulty, right? This is showing the difficulty of inner child healing, because there you are trying to work on the inner child healing with an individual, and what occurs? Others knocking on the door because they hear someone, and they're going to report you because they hear voices inside the house. Now, this is the observation of working through the context of the life that we exist within, right? And this is bringing you back, and I need to point this out. This is bringing you back into the situation at the first part of the dream, right? What is hard with inner child healing? The life that intervenes. The life that intervenes, that is often the circumstance or situation of the life that intervenes, that is created around us prior to healing our inner child, right? That is the maturation process. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing the maturation process, both from the outside, but also from the inside, right? The space or place by which another is finding comfort, right? There you are finding comfort and building comfort for another. And all of a sudden, there's life intervening, articulating and stating to another, what are you doing? Right? Because it's the quality and condition by which they see another person changing. Right? So it's working into, and that's why you identified and said that you paused and you articulated to them that you were going to be back, and you identified that you went back outside, right? This is all a dream about Saturn and Neptune in retrograde, because you went outside and what did you see? It was someone's father's day of birth. And so you sang to them happy birthday, and then you cut the cake, and then you remember the particular individual saying, birthdays aren't like this anymore. Kids now don't even know how to sing birthday songs or even how to open gifts with wrapping paper. Now you have to understand, what were you doing? What were you doing right before you saw that old man outside? You were wrapping a child in a blanket. So the old man was articulating that in the past, we honored birthdays with a changing of responsibility, right? With new energetic wrapping, which is what we saw that you were doing inside the house, right? What were you doing within the house to the inner child, right? The same individual, right? The same individual who was outside the house, who you saw as an old man, but inside the house of the soul is still that small child, right? The space by which you were nurturing them, right? You were cleansing them. So you were nurturing them, you were cleansing them, and you were adorning them in new clothes. So that was you, that was the old man articulating to you, and that old man was one of your guides. Okay, the old man who was in your dream was one of your guides, saying that in the past, when we reached the moment of our birthday, it like in the observation of saying, now you've reached this point, this is you letting go of who you used to be, and this is who you are stepping into. This is them observing that what you were doing in that space, the inner child healing, was the identification and articulation of that maturation, because it's the understanding, right? It's the understanding of finding that new song. And that song is the articulation of being able to step. And that's why you identified that when we exist, right, there are many parts of us that we put to sleep so that new parts of ourselves can awaken. And when we understand that, then we understand that it is natural for us to change tremendously over the course of a healthy lifespan, because it is the nurturing and the love, right, that we allow, right, like that. And you have to see the difference, right? That wasn't something that you were doing in a harsh way, right? That wasn't something you were doing in a brutal way. That was something that you were doing in a loving, caring way that was unique to each individual. And so that is how, and that's why you saw that guide that was saying, right? That guide that was saying in that way, right? That it's a shame that we don't do things like that anymore. And that brings you to, again, the world that you come to experience. The next fragment, different people. You're surrounded by other members of management, and you said a manager stopped you in front of everyone and said about those days you requested. Yeah, I won't be able to give them to you since you know you need to guard those 2 days. You need to guard those two. You need to guard those 2 days in the elevator. And you smiled and you knew that was going to happen. And you knew it because you had requested. You knew it was a special weekend for you. And you said, it's fine. Do whatever you think is best. And you woke up because it was the observation of those are the circumstances or situation that the guide was talking about. The quality and condition by which another individual, right, tries to articulate to you and state, oh, it's not that big a deal, right? Because when we are not given enough time to honor ourselves, then others, right? Then often it is articulated. And that's why you said, it's interesting that you stated, right? They said, you won't be able to give it to you since you need to guard. And it's funny you wrote, you need to guard those 2 days, the elevator, right? Which is basically stating the observation of another person, recognizing or identifying, taking energetic advantage of your own healing journey, right? The quality and condition by which another person articulates or defines and says, you won't mind, right? That won't bother you, specifically because it's energy trying to provoke you, which is why you identified that they articulated those 2 days of the elevator. Because did you notice that in order to do the inner child healing, you had to take a concrete ladder downstairs, right? So somebody who isn't doing the work of the self, someone who isn't doing the work of the self, right? Who tries to see another person navigating from a space of energetic care and in the quality and context by which they recognize that you're prioritizing care, right? They try to effectively thrust more responsibility to you. Bottom of the deck. Those are that's the amplification and the articulation of working through those who are energetically projecting, right? And the quality and nature of those that are projecting often see, right? They often see those navigating from a kind space, and they think, right? They think that it is energetically foolish, or they either try to hurt or ridicule someone operating from a state of kindness because they haven't healed their own inner child, right? They've become the force that is traumatized. So what you effectively see, and this is why you saw the fact that when you're working through the inner child healing, you saw the inner child that could not close their eyes and long to rest, because when there are those out there that are not as invested in doing that work, then it requires one to have to maintain a state of perpetual vigilance, because that perpetual vigilance is identified and articulated by those who have not healed, who do not recognize that vulnerability is something that we work to protect, that requires those who effectively understand that to have to work even more, because those are the ones who have allowed their heart to go cold, which is why you saw that inner child. What did you hear that inner child saying to you? I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I can't feel anything, because they closed off their heart space. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear, and allowing me to interpret your dream. If this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. I've got 5 spots available tonight before the list will be closed. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway on the Clock app. When we get to 50K likes, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time, and I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. How you doing tonight, Daniela? Buon compleanno. Excellent. Oh, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. So good to see you today. Excellent. And just reading over the comments that came through as I was reading. Good to see you too, Kay. I hope you're having a beautiful one. Excellent. Mm-hmm. How you doing tonight, Big Ant? Thank you for the compliment, Jeremy. I'm sending you so much support on that journey, dog. That should not occur. I'm sending you so much support on that journey. Absolutely. Okay. Hi there, Nikki. Good to see you tonight. Excellent. And thank you, Adam, for those gifts. I hope you're having a beautiful one as well. Sending you support, Ella. Mm-hmm. Excellent. We already did the recap avatar, but it's up over on the place where we keep the videos. Okay. Excellent and creative. Good to see you this evening as well. Excellent. And Adina, thank you for sharing the live and thank you for the heart me's. If you comment, dear, I'll pin you up. I had a beautiful podcast with Adina a while back, guys. You can find it over on Adina's site and over on my stack. Excellent. Oh, good to see you, Rose. Ella, sending you support on that journey, dear. How you doing tonight, Lisa? Excellent. Good job, Nikki, if it rhymes. And thank you for sharing the live, Dada. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. You're welcome, Horror. I'm sending you. No, don't worry about it, Ivana. It was fine. Okay. And how are you doing tonight, Daniela? So good to see you. Excellent. No, you got it. You got it down perfectly. I know the princess, the princess costumes. Mm-hmm. Because you're wearing they're wearing princess costumes because they were honoring themselves. Mm-hmm. And the list right now, Melissa, is good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 individuals on the list right now. I know it was a wild ride of a dream, but it was a beautiful dream. Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki. You have your Capricorn in Saturn. Okay, thank you for confirming. Oh, that's wild, Julia. Oh, that's interesting. I'll make a note on that, Julia. Where's your book? Hold on a minute. Mm-hmm. Okay. Horror, I tried to communicate to you when I was doing that reading. You can reach out to me at Grace Strega at the mail that starts with the letter G. Thank you. Looking forward to our conversation. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I appreciate that, Julia. Hi there, Kay. Oh, you have, okay, I'm gonna make, okay, so you've got Saturn and Neptune. Okay, so Saturn and Neptune in Capricorn. So this is heavy stuff for you right now. Got it. Excellent. Oh, yeah, make sure, listen, Kay, make sure that you're trying to write them down, you know, if you can. It's so good to see you tonight. I hope you're doing well. And Janek, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Nikki, for sharing the live. Yeah, that's a good movie reference. Yeah, thank you, Ella, for also connecting to that message. And Kim Pop, thank you for the follow. Thank you for reposting, Aggie. Thank you for confirmation, Ivana. Hi there, Avox. How are you doing, dear? Hope you're doing well this evening. Yes, on point. Oh, sending you support, dear. Oh, thank you, Avatar, for also receiving this message. Oh, is there something that's changed about it, Evox? Is it that bad? What's changed? Yeah, I'm doing my best. I know I'm doing my best to try to keep it to try to navigate it. Yeah, it's a lot of wild energy. Mm-hmm. I'm doing good, Kay. The list at the moment, dear, if you want to get on the list, you'll be the one, two, three, four. You'll be the fifth person read for. Excellent. Yeah, I know. It's hard right now. So just like, it's like give yourself a minute, right? Which doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something, but make sure that you're feeling well grounded as you're doing it. Absolutely. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list tonight, I'm still looking for Itzmai. If Itzmai's not here, the next person we're reading for this evening is Julia. Julia, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would care to get on the list right now, you will be we've got 5 spots left today before the list will be closed. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Thank you for Solitude for those jewels. I appreciate you. And just a reminder to those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, you can also get on the list this evening via the same methods that I've stated. If you become a paid member, you will also have a discount on a full reading as well as a free 1 card each day. Excellent. And thank you for those gifts, Daniela. I hope you're having a beautiful one. I'm so glad you're having a good one. Excellent. Perfect. All right, if Itzmai's not here, okay, we've got Julia. Okay, sure thing. I will add you to the list, Kay. All right, let's get to it. Right back at you, Daniela. Excellent. Is this inside tea or outside tea, Julia? Okay, hold on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you, dear. Mm-hmm. All right. And thank you for sharing the live. Good. Mm-hmm. Where's your book? Mm-hmm. Okay. And before we continue with Julia's read, let's warm up these intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal oracle cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the crane. We'll do that again after the next reading. Hi there, Sri Nithya. Nithya, these are donation-based readings, so if you'd like to get on the list right now, I'd be happy to read for you. We've got 4 more spots this evening before the list will be closed. I would ask you to please not continue to repeat the same question in the chat space. It's not polite to those who are trying to communicate through it. Thank you. And if you'd like to become a paid member, we also offer free 1-card readings to those who are paid members each evening as well. Excellent. Oh, and thank you, Nancy, for that gift. I appreciate you. And I'm going to pin up Julia here. Guys, make sure to give Julia some love. Can I get, yeah, guide reading. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, mm-hmm. You know why you keep on hearing that name, right? Have you put it together? It's instructions. um the thing I'm seeing, like the thing I'm seeing, I'm just going to give you what I'm going to give you what I'm seeing here, which is basically if someone didn't want to do, like, if someone didn't want to do something about it when it was your problem, right? If someone didn't want to do something about it when it was your problem, then they effectively have made it theirs. Which is, and I want to point out, I wouldn't be surprised right now if you have somebody who, like, it's almost like they're giving you the reminder that somebody might try to reach out to you and articulate that something is your responsibility. And what they're reminding you of is if you articulated to someone that something needed to be addressed and they chose not to address it, then you don't even, I keep on going, you don't even need to bother, right? You don't even need to bother with a response, because it's the observation of another person. Like they're basically identifying that this is what another person has been doing to you, which is the quality and condition by which you articulate upon something, right? The quality and condition by which you articulate upon something to be energetically addressed, and them not effectively prioritizing upon it, that then leads to the circumstance or situation by which you don't need to continue to correspond, right? You don't need to continue to correspond with someone who made it clear that they were never in the business of helping you, right? Like that's what I keep on getting. It's the same message coming through, which basically says, if someone if someone made it clear that they weren't in the business of helping you, then there's nothing. I keep wondering, there's nothing that exists. There's nothing that exists between you. So there's something about that I think is really important, because I feel like it's articulate, like it feels like a guide trying to articulate and communicate to you, like what is or is not your energetic responsibility, right? And I keep on getting too, like I keep on seeing, like there's a message coming through on it that says, like, kind of prepare for sabers, right? And when I keep on hearing like prepare for sabers, which is somebody like it says to me, like somebody trying to like I keep on hearing suddenly who's suddenly like someone, like they're saying, like somebody who was literally didn't have a word to say to you, that seems like all of a sudden they have all of these things that they're at, like all of a sudden all of their words come out as you're leaving, right? So they're articulating that, like it says to, like it just says, like you don't, like it's giving a lot of that energy saying that you don't owe somebody anything if they have not been giving you that courtesy. It's interesting as well, because especially as it relates, to whatever was occurring. I keep on seeing, like, whatever was occurring there, that was not, like, I just keep on, like, that was not your, like, that's why the word's coming through, because they're saying that was not your fault, right? I keep on hearing, if you could not make something happen, then you could not stop something from happening, right? That's all I keep on hearing too, right? If you could not make something happen, then you cannot stop something from happening. So I feel like also in relation to that observation, right? That observation or that understanding, I keep on getting, like, don't let, like it just says, like, don't let another person try to upset you or try to put the burden of their responsibility on you, right? Like that's why I keep on seeing the fact that you're also seeing a lot of those feathers there, because what they're basically saying is, like, they're just saying, if you don't owe any, if someone was not invested in building a healthy relationship with you, then their interest in maintaining one after you're leaving is not necessary. It's basically saying you don't owe them anything beyond what what they've articulated. And even in the quality and condition um by which you said, and I want to point this out, you identified or stated something by way of there being, like, I keep on getting like the quality and condition by which something is folded in half. um the best way I can describe what we often see in the quality and condition of something being folded in half, and this is bottom of the deck on this, is, how do I describe this? um like half fold. I'm gonna I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you some information on that I feel is important, because the thing I keep on seeing, and I'll send that to you. um I'm gonna send that to you privately, because like the thing I'm seeing right there is, and I want to point out, there's a lot of attenuated messages that are coming towards you, specifically from your guide. And um the quality and nature of that, there's like a little bit more there, but I feel more comfortable communicating that to you privately. Okay, thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. I've got 4 spots available today before the list will be closed. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Sending you support, see. These are donation-based readings, so if you'd like to get on the list is open. I've got 4 spots available today. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, or legal. We're also about to get started, though, on 1 card readings for Superfam and for paid subscribers, if you would like to become a Superfam or paid subscriber. So that's what I mean in terms of you are having already articulated it. And the fact that they, like, I keep on getting the fact that you articulated it. And yeah, thank you for confirming everything I was seeing there. Thank you for also receiving this message, soul. Excellent. Sending you so much support on your journey, Rosa. You're so welcome, Julia. Excellent. Let's continue. All right, the next person we're reading for today is, we are doing 1 card, so I'm still looking for Itzmai. So Itzmai, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to get on the list today, The list is open, but we are going to get started. Before we continue on the list right now, we're going to be doing one card readings for super fam and for subscribers. So if you are a super fam or a subscriber who would like one card, go ahead and put your question in the comments. I'll be happy to draw a card for you. If you'd like to become a super fam or subscriber, just go ahead and do so, and you'll also be entitled to that one card. Bridget, um, I feel like I see some deep changes occurring for you. But the thing about it is, I feel like a lot of these, I feel like a lot of deep changes that we often recognize is understanding. Um, remember how I said to you, like, make sure that you're not becoming too much of a fixed point in other individuals' responsibilities. I feel like this is exactly the energy I was foreseeing, that allows, like, the gift. I keep on hearing the gift of flexibility is not being obligated in terms of where we have to be, that allows us to do something differently, right? It's working into the animal oracle, the wolf, right? The observation of understanding and defining upon, the understanding of being able to define and recognize that, like, I keep on getting, like, the shape of your life has now changed in a way, but the beauty of the shape of your life changing is that it's yours to, like, it's yours to decide, or to determine what shape suits it most correctly, if that makes sense. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. One moment. One card for Ivana, Celestial. Um, it's interesting because I feel like there's something really important that's coming through right now, in terms of being able to, like, find some kind of new way to channel into your creativity, because everything I keep seeing there, everything I keep on seeing is working into, like, it's interesting because the message is coming through on it is remember your wish, which is, let me write this down. Like, when I get remember your wish, then it often means, like, being able, like, helping to determine, um like, it's more of that space I said, in terms of being able to identify, like, what the highest ideal of the self is doing right now in order to reach that location. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with this 5 of Wands in its reversal, I feel like that dream feels very important, because the last part of the dream, like basically what it's stating, and it's working through, that when life is intervening into our dream space, it should be intervening in the best way possible. And when we say intervening in the best way possible, is the intervention should feel like it's elevating, right? That's why, right? Like that's why you had that coming through, right? Because especially with the fox energy, right? The observation of another, right? The only thing, the thing you have to recognize is the fact that somebody said in the dream space the difference between like, and I'll work, we're gonna like yeah, like I'll hold on, I gotta make a note on it. Yeah, I'll also, the rest of that I'll also pass on to you privately. Thank you. I got you, Julia. All right, one card on the drive. This feels the thing about it is it says to me, um it might not be the, it's like, especially with the justice card in its reversal, um it feels very much like it says to me like it feels very much like you're working like the process of um traveling through, right? Like I have to point out from an angelic reading, right? This often articulates, it says like just do everything you can. Do everything you can um in a protective fashion, and let the guides do the rest, particularly with this 6 of Swords in its reversal, which often, I need to point out, talks about like making sure everything is being double checked before you travel, right? Yeah, especially with the hawk energy, which is basically, it's like it articulates or defines um um it's like it's stating even like working into having lots of check-ins, or articulating to another, like building in some kind of check-in system to let others know and identify like your own sense of progress. um because it says to me like almost like I keep on getting like almost building benchmarks for yourself each day, so that you don't like, so that you don't exhaust yourself. Like it says like just do the planning beforehand, so that that way you're like, so that way so that way you're not exhausting yourself, is what I keep on getting. Absolutely. I got you, Avatar. One card on love for Avatar, please. We've got the 10 of Wands in its upright. And the 10 of Wands in its upright says, I feel like I see somebody around you. Like I see somebody around you who's in the process of moving. They're leaving somewhere. Yeah, it feels like a big move. Like I just keep on seeing this. And the thing about it is, it feels like it's been a long time coming. Yeah, especially with the dog energy. It's giving me a lot of, it's giving me a lot of no hard feelings, you know? It's like, it feels like them and another person have kind of set, like articulated or decided that they're going their separate ways, but it feels very stabilizing in the process, you know? So I feel like I see somebody who's um like taking their time to leave somewhere, because they're not rushing through it. But it also says like when you encounter this individual, don't be too worried if they're fresh out of a relationship, because I keep on getting, especially if they've identified the fact that it was mutual, right? Like I literally see a situation by which them and another person might have just realized that they've got way different manifestation goals, right? So there's no, even if it's fresh, I keep on saying, like I keep on hearing fresh and real. which means like it's fresh, but it's the observation of like if they had been planning it for a long time, like there's nothing unhealed there. I got you. Yeah, Nikki, so the way we're doing this, anybody who was on the list before I came on live, we're doing one cards, and then anyone who came on after I came on live, we're doing the readings afterwards. That's how we navigate priority. Yeah, I haven't missed you. Creative, one card, highest priority, please. This feels like positive. This feels successful. This feels like some kind of breakthrough I see you making. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially in the realm, like this card always comes up for you right now, right? Like I feel like this is you slowly pinpointing what that plan is that's going to get you where you desire to be. Animal Oracle, yeah, especially with the ram energy, right? Like it says to me a lot of preparation to take a big leap. So if there's some kind of opportunity that comes towards you during this eclipse process, right? Like allow it to kind of move you ahead into it. Ella, one card, highest priority, please. The Strength card, which articulates or defines you're getting stronger, right? I know it doesn't feel like that. It sometimes feels very vulnerable to become strong, right? Sometimes when we feel that very vulnerable, we've never been stronger, especially with this hawk energy, right? Um, not allowing it's basically saying like, I don't know, I keep on hearing something from your guide saying like others don't realize we're never left out of things, you know? Because like it's interesting. I gotta write this down. Hold on. Like the full message, like the full message that's coming through on it is like when we're left out of things, angels laugh, right? Like that's all I keep on hearing. Because hold on, I gotta write this down. Mm-hmm. Yep, 1 second. Yeah, 1 sec. Where'd your book go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so there is a full there is a full message here that I'm going to send you, and that's the first part of it. I'll send you the second part privately because it feels like the full message is just for your ears. Okay, I got you, Kay. I mean, you can probably share it with whoever you want once I give it to you, but yeah. Kay. You can never come on too strong for someone who's for you. This says to me, this feels like somebody who's relationship shy, right? Um Yeah, and I gotta tell you, like, it's very much, I would be very curious about the context of their last relationship, or the length of time that it was, because it's saying to me like I see somebody, like I see somebody who effectively, um like this, especially with this Knight of Pentacles, make sure you're having um a conversation with them upon what it is that they're actually looking for. Yeah, especially with this wolf energy, right? Right. The sound, like it says to me, like, the thing is, um I just keep on hearing friends are not so heavily invested, right? So the quality and condition by which, like the quality and condition by which another person articulates the word friend, right, helps to understand and recognize that, um like when others, like, it's like it just says to me, like, no liminal, don't invest in a liminal space between friendship and relationship. That if someone wants a relationship with you, they will outright state they will state their business. How you doing today, Janae? Good to see you. Thank you, Bridget, for confirmation. Absolutely. Yeah, wait till you hear the extra part of that. Just message me privately and I'll send it to you. Yes, we're doing one cards right now, Ella. Thank you for confirming, Kay. All right. And thank you for those jewels, Yvonne. I appreciate you. Okay, let's continue. All right. All right, if we've concluded, so if everybody has asked their one, Ruby, did you have a one card you wanted to ask? If so, if we've done all the one cards, we are going to move back into personals, and I'm also going to close the list right now. So the list is closed. If you get on the list tonight, you'll be added to the list tomorrow, which means you'll have priority, which means you'll be read before we start the daily collective. I got you, Ruby and Janae. Ruby, one card on their feelings. I feel like I see somebody who feels like they blew it. You know? I feel like it says, like, it feels to me like someone, it feels to me like someone who thinks they took someone's bad advice. You know? Like, it says to me, like, don't take, the thing about it is when others, like, especially if someone is the life of the party, right? You should, like, someone who's the life of the party should never take dating advice from others who derive entertainment from them. When someone is the life of the party, one should never take dating advice from others who attain entertainment from them. And so it feels to me like somebody who's realizing that the advice that another person gave them was to keep them, was potentially to keep them single instead of what was potentially best for their, like, for their highest benefit or blessing. Ugh. Thank you for confirming, Ruby. Well, we haven't got it. Vox, we haven't gotten to 50K yet. You can't put it in ahead of time. If you want to tap the screen to get us a 50K, we can do the 50K giveaway. But I got you, Daniela. One card, highest priority, please. Um, it's a message coming in from a divine counterpart that says that they're never going to fumble you. They're like they're saying that their answer to you will always be yes, right? No, no, like no, I need time. No, I'll think about it. No, I'll get back to you. Like I keep on hearing their name, like they're a definitive yes, right? So anyone who's not coming towards you with a definitive yes is not them. You're welcome, Janae. Janae, I still haven't seen your question come through. You may need to rephrase it or put periods in instead of spaces on the words. And while we wait for Janae's question, the next person on the list for today, I'm still looking for, if it's Mai's not here, the next person on the list for tonight is Danae. Danae, if you're here, you're so welcome, Daniela. Danae, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Oh, thank you, Evox. I appreciate that. I got you, Janae. Ugh. I mean, I know it's tough, but your guides think that you're doing exceptional given the circumstances, right? When circumstances are tough, right? When circumstances when circumstances like the thing I keep on seeing here too is having I keep on hearing you having to say to someone, it's not cute, it's depressing, right? It's not cute, it's depressing. Which is if somebody's trying to get your attention beyond having a conversation with you, right? That's like other and I keep on seeing others being like, oh, it's that cute, being like, no, it's not cute. And in fact, the fact that you find that type of behavior cute is why they're acting like a child in the first place. You know? I don't know why I keep on hearing the words childish smoke show. This is what I keep on hearing. You know, I keep on hearing childish smoke shows go poof. Is what I keep on hearing. Which means like they need to energetically grow. They need to grow. Sending you so sending you so much support, dear. I have to write that down in your book. That was so specific. It was such a specific, just because the phrasing that came through on it, it was like super specific. Hold on. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, that's the worst part about it is like, it's like, it feels to me like everything another person is doing that's not mature is just sealing it further. You know, like that's the worst part about it. Sending you so much support on that journey. Okay, getting back to personals. And as I mentioned, friends, the list is closed, but if you want to get on the list for tomorrow, you will be the first person read for. You'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I got you, dear. Mm-hmm. And one more. This message is coming straight directly from your divine counterpart. I'm just going to read out what it says. Okay. It says, let's get something straight. It's like, they're like, yeah, you are after Danae, Nikki. Let's get something straight. I'll read the list right now. Okay, the list we have is, I'm still looking for It's My, Danae, Nikki, and K Megan. They're saying, let's get something straight. Okay. They prioritize rest. Okay. Further, they identify the fact that you are allowed to rest. But they also understand, right, that when you say to someone that you're allowed to rest, you don't say you're allowed to rest and then not pick up the slack, right? Like, that's what I keep on getting here, which needs, like, I keep on hearing somebody who always says you deserve rest but doesn't pick up the slack is whack, is all I keep on hearing, right? That's an insult. Like, I literally hear them saying, let's be completely clear about it. It's a slap in the face. I don't know what we're talking about, but whoever this divine counterpart I'm reading for is absolutely incensed about something. And they're absolutely incensed because, right, the quality and condition, it's like, I just keep on seeing someone say, like, I keep on hearing, behold, right? Like, behold the sound of entitlement, right? Behold the sound of entitlement that says you should rest without effectively saying you should rest, which means I will pick up the slack. Okay, you cannot, it's a slap in, like, that's all it is. It's a slap in the face. The sound of another person, like, slapping you in the face is somebody that's ever, like, literally somebody, like, literally the slap in the face of someone who would have the odd, like I don't even, like, I'm not even a cursor, but whoever this is wants to curse, a slap in the face on somebody who would have the absolute audacity to be like, you look, have you, here's a wild idea. Here's a wild idea. Here's a wild idea. Have you considered resting? Have you considered resting? Like, oh, like somebody literally, like going, like I have to, like, be like somebody, like, busting out the glasses and being like, I know, oh, I figured, I've got a wild concept. I've got this wild concept. Have you tried resting? You don't get to say that. Okay? You don't understand, okay, that we can't rest well unless we know that another person is protecting our best interests while we do so. Okay? And if another person, and that's the thing about it, they're saying, right, that that you'll know them because they understand, right, that you don't say to somebody with responsibilities, hey, have you considered resting? You say, I will take up the responsibility of what you need to do so that you can rest more. Because if not, right, if not, then that is not somebody who actually cares about you resting. That's somebody who just is really good at wordplay. Right? There you go. There is somebody who is great at wordplay that will literally say, right, that behold wordplay, who will sit there and say, oh, you should rest, right? Saying all the things, right? Saying all the things that sound good to say, but not lifting a finger, not lifting a single solitary finger to create the circumstances necessary to allow you the ability to do so. Right? And I keep on getting this energy being like, that is unbelievable. Right? Like I keep on hearing unbelievable. Unbelievable is what I keep on getting. So I want you to be conscientious of that. Because what I'm seeing here, like this is like this is how they see you. Right? And what I keep on getting about this is I don't know why, but this person feels like, this divine counterpart feels like you are absolutely surrounded by incredibly self-interested energy. Not everybody, right? I do see here, like they're identifying or articulating to me that they see a few, I keep hearing a few bright stars, like they're saying a few beautiful individuals around you. But the quality and nature of energy, right, that's effectively, right, like it's saying to me, stop clapping and pick up some groceries, right? Like it like don't like if you see somebody working, like doing something exceptionally, you shouldn't say, wow, that's amazing. You should say, how can I help you? How can I help you? And I feel like they want you to write those words down. Okay? HCIHY. Okay? HCIHY. How can I help you? Okay? Because the sound for you, okay? How can I help you means I love you. Okay? Somebody saying over and over again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Great. Encouragement, right? That's wonderful. Like, okay, that's great. Encouragement is terrific. But you know what? You know what's better than encouragement? Actual help. Actual help. Help, it beats encouragement every day of the week. And the observation, particularly if another individual is literally standing by doing nothing as you are energetically struggling, then that is what is identified as a deplorable condition. Right? And a deplorable condition, okay, a deplorable condition that not just is observed by you, but is observed by others around you too. And I feel like this is something that you either had to heal from in the past as it relates to energy taking advantage of you. Bottom of the deck on this reading, they're literally articulating that they would never do that. They would never, I keep on saying, they would never put you in a position where they would see you energetically struggling, where they were completely aware that they could step in and allow for that easement point. Right? Especially, I don't know why I keep on getting this, especially if they articulate that it would almost be, it would be like nothing, like I literally, like I see, I don't know why, but I keep on, I see somebody, like, I don't know who, I'm just reading into this. I see somebody looking at another person and stating to them, right? Like I see somebody like walking in and being like, what are you holding there? And being like, oh, this, I got this for myself. And I don't know why. And I'm like, I just keep on hearing somebody articulating and then saying, are you aware that that person is like, it, like like they're going, are you aware of the fact that that person's trying to figure out like how to bring, like how to have something necessary. Like there's somebody around you who's trying to figure out how to do something necessary while you like while you are perfecting on an energetic detail. Like it's giving that type of energy. Like it's literally like I just keep on getting a lot of this. It's interesting too. This feels like someone with heavy Aries or Taurus placements, because Aries, like I'll just point this out, like this is the type of person I'm picking up here that would like absolutely like leave, like they're saying like leave silent things for others, because they're like, are you like, because they keep on saying like when they navigate through others awareness, like that awareness, right? Like they keep on identifying like that our awareness is often the space by which they identify that selfish energy will one day look back and go, yeah, I don't know what happened one day. Like it's the energy that goes, oh, I don't know what happened one day they snapped, and being like, no, they didn't snap. That was every day. Like what you experienced was every day of you denying them the ability to ease something that you could ease like that, right? And that's the thing about it. The energy, like the energy that talks about another person snapping is sitting there, right? Like the snap, they're identifying and articulating upon the fact that that snap is every day by which another person recognized by the snap of their fingers, they could make something go away. That's never forgotten, right? It's never forgotten. It's always energetically remembered, because, and I keep on hearing them say, they are a true tender, right? And them truly tending means that they would never see you. They would never let you be in a state by which you are struggling while they, like you are struggling while they are bedecking. The word I keep on hearing is they would never be in a space by which you are struggling and they are bedecking. And the word I keep on getting is specifically bedecking. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list tomorrow and you will have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. All right, and just bear with me a moment. Okay, I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Mm-hmm. No, Janae, that's not cute at all. And I hope that you're taking steps necessary to make it clear that that's not acceptable either. Sending you so much support on that journey, dear. Oh, Daniela, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful night, dear. Mm-hmm. You're so welcome, Janae. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you guys for supporting each other in these reads. Sending you support on that journey, creative. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing the live, bro. All right, let's continue. All right, and the next person we're reading for right now is Nikki. Nikki, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And before we continue with Nikki's read, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal oracle cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the salmon. We'll do it again after the next reading. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Garf. Oh, and thank you, Jamie, for also receiving these messages. Oh, guys, we got to 50K. Wonderful. Thank you guys for helping us get to 50K. All right. Okay, let's get to it. Before we continue right now, before we get started on Nikki's reading, absolutely, I got you, dear. We are going to do that 50K giveaway. Whoever wins that will be a reading that is available to you starting tomorrow. I am going to think of a number right now between 1 and 44. First person I see that posts the number will get the free reading. First person I see, not the first person that posts it. Sometimes I see things in a different order than you guys post them. Stop, I've seen it. I'm just double checking to make sure it's the first time I saw it. Yep, congratulations, Yaz. You got the 50K. We will do that again when we get to 100K. Thank you guys so much for participating. And thank you for sharing the live, Dada. All right. And where'd you go? Just make back up. I am pinning Nikki up here. Guys, make sure to give Nikki some love. 4 cards, please. Let's see here. And 2 more. And 1 more. So I feel like I see somebody Um, it feels really difficult because the best thing I can describe is I see somebody, and I feel like you understand this profoundly. Um, like I want to describe, I see you have a beautiful gift. All right, and here's your gift. Okay, I'm just going to tell you your gift of, I'm going to point this out. When another person reaches a limit with you, right? When I keep on getting, like, you have the gift of the limit. All right, and the limit. Okay, and I like to point, and you often see, like, the thing about this, and it happens to those with Leo placements all the time. All right, and I'll tell you right now, the sound, right? There is not a single Leo placement on this earth that starts with claws. All right, there's the best Leo you know, never leading with their claws. Okay. And that's why whenever you see a Leo, right? And someone be like, they're being so mean to me. Everyone goes, really? Right? And like pay attention to the song, right? Pay attention to the song around a Leo, which is always, they're being so mean to me, right? Because, and you'll notice this with those with Leo placements, because everybody with Leo placements looks around and goes, who's being, who? That person? That one right there? Like, that one? That's really interesting, right? Because it recognizes, right, that there's a limit, right? When another person has reached the limit of your compassion, right? When another person has reached the limit of their compassion, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. And it's like it really is. It's like, let them, right? Let them sit there and be like, oh, me like, no, not mean. That's very interesting, right? Because it often, like, and I just see this, like, you have that understanding. The difference, there, and I think that this is the hard thing to understand, right? The quality and condition by which another person goes through that, um like, I literally see somebody, um there's some things, and I want to describe this here, that when another person is trying to bring the mean out of you, is what I keep on getting, then it says that the observation, right? That the observation of us being energetically reactive in that way makes it harder, right? Because the thing about it is, it feels like I literally see somebody who's navigating a situation with an individual that is trying to test another's righteous indignation. And it's, I can see how frustrating it is, right? I can see how painful it is, because I can see the fact, like, it feels like I see somebody working through a point of despair. And I like to point out, when others are, like, sometimes the best thing we can do when others are navigating through when others are navigating through despair is reminding each other that hope is hope has hands, right? And I want you to understand, when I say hope has hands, it means we don't just hope that things improve, right? We start to identify and recognize, right? And here's the thing about it, and I can see what's so difficult around something, okay? Working into the context of what one can do to better something, right? That another person is intentionally trying to embitter. And I'll tell you right now, like when one is working through circumstances and situations like that, um, the understanding, right? Like the one thing I want to tell you about this, especially with this here, yeah, you've got, yeah, I was waiting for this card, right? These are your guides, right? And the guides say, I want you to write this down because I feel like it's coming from both of them. Okay? I want you to write it down. And I want you to remember. I'm even looking for your book so I can write it down. Bitter battles lose wars. Okay? I want you to write that down somewhere. Okay? It's really important. Bitter battles lose wars. There's one thing we know deep to our core as soon as we become conscious, and that is where our peace is made. Don't underestimate another's ability to recognize where peace lives. And I feel like even as like I know that that is no I know that that is no I know that that is a small like I know that that's a small like I know that that's a small point, but remember, it's not small. It's everything. Thank you so much, and keep on helping another person to help yourself remember that, and keep helping to remind another person of that as well, because I feel like this is you and another person persevering through something, right? And when we persevere, there are beautiful things on the other side of our perseverance. Thank you so much for having this reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is closed, but if you want to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the Daily Collective. The next person on the list for today, I'm just going to take a moment to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. Thank you so much for those gifts, ZR. Yeah, sending you support on that, Ella. Thank you. I do. I'm sending you so much support on it, dear. You're welcome. The next person we're reading for today is Kay. Kay, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Excellent. And before we continue right now, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the Animal Oracle cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the fox. We'll do it again after the next reading. Okay. I got you, dear. Yeah, I mean, the thing you have to recognize, the thing about this is, yeah, like I'm reading on it and I'm annoyed by it. Okay, so let me walk through. um, I see like okay, so so this is the best thing I can tell you. Okay, lost touch. Okay, and I need to stress this: the sound of someone losing touch is someone who used to be an expert on something that no longer exists. Okay, that's what it means to lose touch. When you lose touch, it is literally the sound of articulating that you are an expert on something that no longer exists because it's changed so profoundly. It's changed so profoundly since you last touched it, right? It's changed so profoundly that since you last experienced it, that you don't know what you're talking about, right? Like, is what I keep on getting, right? It would and when another person refuses to recognize that they've lost touch on something, then it literally becomes it becomes incredibly absurd because there's something very complicated happening. And they say, oh, well, why have you tried doing this? And being like, oh, of course. Oh, why didn't I? Oh my gosh. What a wild, it's the observation of a wild concept because, right, it further amplifies the fact that things have changed so much. So, especially in relation, like in terms of another person snapping at you, first and foremost, snap free zone. Snap free zone. And when we identify a snap free zone, then we're able to articulate to another that snapping, right, snapping is inappropriate, because when we're snapping, we're not being respective of each other, right? And if you would not do it, right? And here's the thing about it. You want to get into like the equalizer. If you would not do it to a stranger, then you should not do it to someone that you care about. If you would not do it to a stranger, why would you ever do it to someone you care about? So I feel like there's something important to be identified there. Now, I also see, it feels like I see somebody. I feel like I see something that there's something energetically deeper happening here. And the thing I think that you need to be attentive to and allow for a conversation upon is, if I keep on seeing, particularly, if it feels like I keep on hearing the word that keeps on arriving on this reading, because it feels like there's an ancestral connected to it, which is identifying if another person was behaving out of character. Is what I keep on seeing. Because I feel like I cannot, it's very hard. It's very hard for me to do this reading because there's a limitation to what I articulate that I can read for. But I feel like there's something here that's happening that is identifying the fact that another person is carrying some kind of deeper distress that they're not communicating to others, because they articulate upon the fact that they don't like to burden others. Like, I keep on saying that this is an individual who has a tendency of brushing off. Like, I see somebody who has a tendency of brushing off very serious things because they carry anxiety. Like, I keep on hearing someone going, it's nothing. It's nothing, right? And somebody identifying the fact that there's nothing is somebody who is working through the energetic fear, right? And I feel like the hard part about this is, I'm going to just tell you what I'm reading for, okay? I see somebody who saw somebody go through something and they made themselves a promise that they would never do that. I don't know what I'm reading for. I am just interpreting what I'm seeing here. And the thing about it is, there's something about them making a promise to themselves as it relates to what they have refused to endure, which feels very, if there was something that was happening or identifying upon the care of the self, I feel like I see somebody that is like, and it's interesting because I feel like it's somebody that's working through the space by which they themselves are trying to maintain their autonomy about something, and at the same time effectively trying to diminish, yeah, right? Like, they're trying to diminish you trying to put care towards them, right? If, especially if this was something that was coming up related to it. So I feel like you have to have, I feel like the thing that you have to effectively work through is saying to someone, right? I keep on hearing the word from the ancestral there was an ancestral at that conversation. And the word they keep on saying is apply theoretically, right? Behold the life-changing power of a theoretical conversation, which is to say to somebody, theoretically, right? To say theoretically, if something were happening, how would you aspire? How would you prefer? Like, how would you, like, what would you idealize would be the ideal way of navigating it? Because I just keep on seeing that something related to you, adding the word theory to present circumstances might make it easier for another person to communicate upon, is what I keep on seeing. Because I don't know why, but they're raising their hand and stating the fact that they hold some sort of responsibility towards it, which is to say that they saw them go through something. Like, they're identifying that they're the energy that the other individual saw went through something and said, I will never, right? Like, I will never endure that. I don't know why they keep on, like, I just keep on hearing someone say, I will never, like, and they're saying never, I will never endure that, is what they keep on saying. But they said it because, like, they said it because they're identifying that they said that it was agony to see another person have to go through something. So I hope this helps. And thank you so much, dear, for having this reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings. The list is now closed, but if you would like to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional call. You'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Oh, that's their word that they apply a lot. Okay. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. And R. Rahim, thank you for the follow. Hi, dear. I know. We're doing a late night one tonight, Laurel. Excellent. All right. Okay, my friends. It's interesting, so the best way I can describe what I'm seeing here, okay, is it was a feminine energy talking, like, articulating upon the fact that a masculine endured it. So it feels like there's a masculine connected that endured something, right? And I'm also seeing somebody, I'm also seeing somebody who navigated a situation with a feminine that was also very much in the, very much in the same, they saw, like, they witnessed it together, if that makes sense. I hope that clarifies upon it, because like, they're identifying the fact that they had conversations about the fact that they promised themselves that. I hope that helps, dear. I got you, Yaz. Oh, you okay there? Sorry, Strega just fell out of her bed. because I feel like you're here because you're working through a Saturn lesson, right? There's a possibility of something better being there now because you're no longer the person that you were before, right? I keep on saying this is you walking in professionally, is what I keep on seeing. Like, pay attention to the 5 and 6, Yaz. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome, dear. Mm-hmm. Hey, hey. Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, it's basically, I feel like there's something about that, that especially if something has changed, right? Like, you are no longer the same person that they would have communicated with. Absolutely. You're welcome, Kay. Laurel, I got you. Somebody not navigating the, like, it feels like other, like there's a lot of projection energy right now related to others not navigating the eclipse energy we're currently navigate going through effectively. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, right. Another person, like it's stating to me, like another person, um, like another person not making any sense, but like I keep on hearing, when we're communicating effectively, we build into consistent direction, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yep. I know, you can hear her. She's like ready to go. Absolutely. You're so welcome. Excellent. All right, my friends. Final call for to anyone who is not, oh, is a paid subscriber who has not had a 1 card reading. I want to thank you guys so much for being here tonight and being a part of these readings tonight. We will be back on tomorrow at our standard time. That will be, we'll actually probably be on closer to noon tomorrow, Eastern. If you would like to be notified as when I go on live, I'll be having that up shortly. I got you, Sonia. Highest priority for Sonia, please. We got the Justice card in its reversal. So um, make sure that you're articulating to another if they're being unreasonable about something. Yeah, specifically and particularly as with this 10 of Wands, in terms of, like, I keep on hearing, like, being able to split the difference in terms of travel or helping another person see everything that you're doing, right? It may feel like somebody who's trying to disregard how hard something that you're doing is. So just make sure that you're helping another person be aware of everything you're trying to do in terms of navigating through something. Absolutely. Yep, I posted it. Mm-hmm. I was seeing them in the cards. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 1 card for Julie, highest priority, please. And Melissa, thank you for the follow. We've got the Fool card, which says this might be a good opportunity to try something new. Um, Bottom of the deck, especially with the Magician. The thing with navigating eclipse energy in terms of doing something new, it's not doing something on a lark, but doing something that you've been meaning to do for a while. This is a great energy to do so. Animal Oracle, the dog. Yeah, again, it says like it's good to start things that you've had your mind on starting for a long time. Absolutely. And thank you for those heart me's, dear. Excellent. All right, my friends. I want to thank you guys so much for being here tonight and receiving these messages. Also, thank you to everybody joining us over on the place where we keep the videos. We will be back on tomorrow, probably around closer to noon Eastern time. If you'd like to be notified as to when I've gone live, you can head over and hit the notifications. If you became a super fam or subscriber tonight, head on over to my Superfam Only Disco channel. You can just, if you'd like access to it, you can send me a disco gift and I will send you an invitation to the disco. You can introduce yourself to the collective there. You'll also find there a coupon code that will give you a discount to our tarot class subscription program. Our next class is going to be held on Thursday, September 17th at 5:30 p.m. PST. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the four cards. I want to thank you guys for being here tonight and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful night. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we will do this again tomorrow.